but really is sending out smoke signals to Buhari to say, look, don't come for me because I am not against you. Just leave me in peace. I'm an old man. Let bygones be bygones, because he knows, as I said, that Buhari is a very vengeful person. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now, since Professor Mahmood Yakubu declared Muhammadu Buhari as the apparent winner of the recently concluded presidential elections, there's been a lot of activities amongst high-profile Nigerians. So now we've seen President Obasanjo, former President Obasanjo, hurriedly leave the country for London. We have heard that Bukola Saraki's premises are being surrounded by security operatives, and we have seen Abubakar Atiku go to court to challenge the declaration, to challenge the results declared by Professor Mahmood Yakubu. So now the latest installment is a begging letter that's been published by Ibrahim Babangida. I call it a begging letter, and I will read the letter to you. But before I read that letter to you, let us start from the very beginning. So we go back to August 27, 1985, and I'll read you this. Fellow Nigerians, when in December 1983, the former military leadership, headed by Major General Muhammadu Buhari, assumed the reins of government, its ascension was heralded in the history of this country. With the country at the mercy of political misdirection and on the brink of economic collapse, a sense of hope was created in the minds of every Nigerian. Since January 1984, however, we have witnessed a systematic degeneration of that hope. It was stated then that mismanagement of political leadership and a general deterioration in the standard of living, which had subjected the common man to intolerable suffering, were the reasons for the intervention. Nigerians have since then been under a regime that continued with those trends. Events today indicate that most of the reasons which justified military takeover of the government from the civilians still persist. The initial objectives were betrayed and fundamental changes do not appear on the horizon. Because the present state of uncertainty and suppression and stagnation resulted from the perpetration of a small group, the Nigerian armed forces could not, as a part of that government, be unfairly committed to take responsibility for failure. Our dedication to the cause of ensuring that our nation remains a united entity worthy of respect and capable of functioning as a viable and a credible part of the international community dictated the need to arrest the situation. Let me at this point attempt to make you understand the premise upon which it became necessary to change the leadership. The principles of discussions, consultation, and cooperation which should have guided decision-making process of the Supreme Military Council and the Federal Executive Council were disregarded soon after the government settled down in 1994, where some of us thought it appropriate to give a little more time, anticipating a conducive atmosphere that would develop in which affairs of state could be attended to with greater sense of responsibility. It became increasingly clear that such expectation could not be fulfilled. Regrettably, it turned out that General Muhammadu Buhari was too rigid and uncompromising in his attitudes to issues of national importance. Efforts to make him understand that a diverse polity like Nigeria required recognition and appreciation of the differences in both cultural and individual perceptions only served to aggravate these attitudes. Major General Tunde Idiagbon was similarly inclined in that respect. as Chief of Staff, Supreme Headquarters, he failed to exhibit the appropriate disposition demanded of his position. He arrogated to himself absolute knowledge of problems and solutions and acted in accordance with what was convenient to him, using the machineries of government as his tool. A combination of these characteristics in the two most important persons holding the nation's vital offices became impossible to contend with. The situation was made worse by a number of government functionaries and other organizations, chief among which is the Nigerian Security Organization (NSO), in which this body will overhaul and reorganize. And so it came to that the same government which received tumultuous welcome now became alienated from the people. To prevent a complete erosion of our given mandates, therefore, we had to act so that hope can be rebuilt. And this, of course, was the coup speech by Babangida then, when he overthrew Buhari in August 1985. So that is when the seed was sown. So now, when Babangida overthrew Buhari in August 1985, he then subsequently put Buhari in prison for a good 3 years. So he put Buhari in prison for a good 3 years, and I think in the course of that period, Buhari lost a key member of his family. I think it must have been his father. I cannot quite fully recall, but if you do recall, please comment in the comment section. But Buhari lost a key member of his family, and he wasn't able to go attend the funeral because obviously he was in detention. So, and Buhari has held this grudge ever since. And the person that was sent to arrest and imprison Buhari was, of course, Dasuki, who Buhari has now held captive now for 4 years against all court judgments to have him released. So that's the background to this story. So now, obviously, it is not in Babangida's interest to have Buhari continue to be the Nigerian president, and he must have consulted and acted widely to have that not to be the case. So now that Buhari has now decided to stay in power come what may, Babangida now has no choice but to do idobale, because he knows that Buhari is a very vengeful person, and revenge is a dish best served cold. So now this is Babangida's pleading, begging letter to Buhari by way of this article. So now let me go to the begging letter. Nigeria elections. IBB tells Atiku what to do. Former military president General Ibrahim Babangida, retired, has urged Atiku Abubakar to concede defeat. Okay, I'm just going to skim through and read you the pertinent bit. In a statement he signed on Saturday, IBB said he was particularly impressed with the gallant and audacious spirit of the main challenger in the presidential race. He noted, "I was not surprised that even though he lost the most exotic position of the land, his doggedness and pattern of support cut across ethnic, religious, and regional lines that earned him the second position of the last presidential election. I call on the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar to close ranks and work with the winner of the election in an objective and constructive manner so that democracy will continue to thrive in our country at this crucial period of renaissance. I urge him also to endeavor and prevail on his admirers to eschew bitterness and violence. They must be prevailed upon to understand that politics is a game in which there must only be one winner. I pray that the Almighty Allah will continue to guide our democratic steps for peace and progress in this country." So there you have Ibrahim Babangida calling Atiku Abubakar to concede. I mean, not phoning him, obviously, calling him by way of a public statement in a national newspaper. So he's calling him out to concede the election and congratulate Muhammadu Buhari. Now, of course, he's doing this under the cloak of being a patriotic Nigerian and an elder statesman, but really is sending out smoke signals to Buhari to say, look, don't come for me because I am not against you. Just leave me in peace. I'm an old man. Let bygones be bygones. Because he knows, as I said, that Buhari is a very vengeful person. And because Buhari is now in the very last term of his tenure, because he cannot serve another term after these 4 years, because he knows that Buhari is now that his last stop in terms of governance of Nigeria. He knows that Buhari would then use this last stance to correct or to avenge all of the wrongdoings that he feels has been done against him. And the signal for him to understand that is the fact that Tadasuki is being held in custody despite all of the courts in the land of Nigeria saying that this man should be released. So Buhari has signaled that he has placed himself above the law, and he has also signaled that he is coming for his enemies, and his number one arch enemy is Babangida, who he felt had done him a mortal wrong. So now the battle lines are drawn. What steps will Buhari take? We all know him to be a very vengeful person, so watch this space. There's a little skirmish bubbling in the background. Buhari versus Babangida. Let's see how this plays out. So let me know what your thoughts are about this, my theory, in the comment section. I'm just speculating now, so let me know what your thoughts are about these, my speculations, in the comment section. So I'll leave you here, then we carry on this conversation in the comment section. So I'll leave you here, then I'll wait for you to click on that subscribe button so you can come join me in the comment section where this conversation carries on. So leave you here, meet you in the comment section, and I'll say peace.